Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Missouri students, sponsored by the Missouri Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at MOACAC.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, MOACAC.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. My name is Will, and I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the Illinois Institute of Technology. We're very excited to talk with you today and share a little bit of information with you. In addition to myself, I'm also joined by one of my coworkers. I'll have her go introduce herself to you real quick.
Hi, everyone. My name is Diana. I'm also an admission counselor here. I focus on first-year students. So helping you out with your admission process, application questions, we are here for you. So yeah, we can get started.
Awesome, great. Well, definitely feel free to use those the Q&A box as we are going. Diana and I will make sure we save a little time at the end to answer any questions that you have. Additionally, one of us might jump in there as the presentation's going and answer some questions if we have a little extra time as well. But I want to talk with you today about Illinois Tech, some of the great opportunities our university can provide. And one of the big reasons that students might consider IIT is because of what you see on the screen right now. Our location in Chicago. We are a really great, outstanding option for students who are looking for an urban environment, a small college setting, and that STEM-focused education. So like I said, we'll have that time for at the end for some Q&A, and again, use that chat as much as you'd like. In terms of who Illinois Tech students are and who we are as an institution, we're a place where you get a chance to be entrepreneurs, innovators, interdisciplinary thinkers, as well as problem solvers. And there's a lot of hands-on learning that kind of brings it all together. So throughout the presentation today, you'll hear about a lot of those different things. But if you have any questions about those, about maybe our entrepreneurship programs, if we don't cover those enough, we really encourage you to connect more with us. This is hopefully just the beginnings of a connection with Illinois Tech. We would want you to join us for some of our own sessions, meet with an alumni, sit in on a presentation, go to class virtually. All of these are opportunities that we have available to you this fall. So I already alluded a little bit here to our location in Chicago, but we are really known as a great STEM option in Chicago. In fact, we're the only STEM-focused university. There's a lot of really great schools in Chicago, but ours happens to be the only STEM-focused one. We're only about 3 miles from the center of downtown. It's about a 10 to 15-minute train ride. And one of the things that is so great about Chicago is our public transit system. Very easy to get around. You don't need a car in Chicago. In fact, you would find it more of a nuisance than anything, having a car in Chicago as a college student. As you can see on the public train system there, we do have 2 train lines that are directly on our campus. There's the Green Line and the Red Line trains, and those will take you right up into the city. They also connect to both airports if you wanted to do some traveling during break periods or things like that as well. So in terms of the student body at Illinois Tech, we're just about 3,000 undergraduate students. So you're going to find a small community. You're going to find a nice, relatively diverse community as well, with all 50 U.S. states represented and over 80 different over 80 different countries represented at Illinois Tech, with both our master's and PhD level students included in those numbers. Again, that small focus, 12 to 1. We want you to get to know your professors. We want you to think of them as resources at the university, and definitely want you to build close relationships with them during your time. Next up, Diana is going to talk with you about some of the different colleges or departments here at Illinois Tech, and talk about some of those majors that you might be considering.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. So yes, like you said, I'm going to be talking about our colleges. We do have 5 different colleges at our university. Like Will said, we are a STEM-focused institution. However, we do also have those non-STEM majors. For example, we have business. We also have architecture, soft sciences, like psychology, humanities, you name it. So kind of an overview of all of our colleges. Well, first we have over 40 undergraduate majors, and then also a lot of minors for you to choose from, kind of ranging from artificial intelligence all the way up to music. We are partnered with College of Music, Vandercook College of Music on our campus. They're located right on our campus. So if you wanted to take some music courses, kind of express your creative side, then you definitely can do that. Other than that, we also have special programs like pre-med, pre-pharmacy, pre-optometry, pre-law. We are partnered with 3 professional schools in Chicago, so Midwestern College of Medicine, Lake Erie College of Medicine, as well as Chicago-Kent College of Law. We will talk a little bit about those dual admission programs in future slides. All right, so our first college is our Armour College of Engineering. As you can see, we do have a variety of different majors in and relating to engineering. Some of our more popular ones definitely include mechanical engineering, computer engineering, civil engineering, and all of those. We are ABET accredited. So what that stands for is Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology. This board just reviews all of our classes annually to ensure that we are upkeeping the quality that we're giving on to our students. Our engineering college, other fun facts, there are 4 themes revolving around the College of Engineering. So those 4 themes are water, health, energy, and security. Most of the projects you will work on if you are in our College of Engineering will revolve around one of those 4 themes, as they are very big in the professional world. And yeah. Next college is our College of Architecture. What we offer here is we offer a 5-year professional bachelor's degree. After you graduate with this professional bachelor degree, you will actually be able to get the credentials to test for your licensure without any additional study. We are NAAB accredited, so what that stands for is National Architectural Accrediting Board, so very similar to the ABET accreditation. If you really want your master's degree, however, it's not required for this professional bachelor's degree, but if you really want it, we do offer a master's in architecture for just 1 additional year. Our next college is our College of Computing. Our College of Computing is our newest department, which incorporates all of our old majors that relates to computers. So we have our computer science major, which is very popular, but also some new majors such as artificial intelligence. We are actually Midwest's only Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So that's a little fun fact that I like to boast about. And then our Lewis College of Sciences and Letters, this is where all of our science-related majors will lie. So whether that be hard sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, or it be soft sciences like humanities or psychology or social sciences. This college is a great fit for you if you wanted to follow in that pre-med route, but also good if you're interested in those soft sciences and maybe communications, any of those softer fields that you wish to pursue. Last but not least, we have our Stewart School of Business. What we offer at our university is very unique. We offer a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. This is a unique opportunity at Illinois Tech because it does help you focus your degree by choosing some of these specializations, and some of these specializations have a STEM background. So for example, our mechanical engineering specialization. This is really great and tech focused so that you really have that tech related background under your belt. So if you wanted to go out into the corporate world and perhaps be in a business that focuses on STEM, then you really understand those tech languages. So it really gives you the upper hand. All right, one more thing I'd like to mention is our accelerated master's degree. What this allows our students to do, and it's a great opportunity that I always like to present to our students, is that it allows our students to pursue both their bachelor's and their master's degree in as few as 5 years, while also continuing to apply their institutional scholarships from their undergraduate years to that 5th year. So we actually hold on to your undergraduate degree until that 5th year, so you're graduating with both in that 5th year. So all of your scholarships, your loans will roll over. We have over 50 degree combinations, and you don't have to decide this pathway for you until your 2nd year of your college here. So you still have a little bit of time to figure out whether or not getting a master's is within your future goals.
Awesome. Thank you, Diana. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit more about some hallmark experiences, things that are shared every student at Illinois Tech. And one of those is a course we call Introduction to the Profession. This is a course you're going to take during your first year at Illinois Tech, and every single major or set of majors in some cases has an Introduction to the Profession, or ITP, as most of our students will call it. So this is a course that helps you make sure you're really in the best fit major. So if you know you absolutely want to be a civil engineer, this is going to help you see, what does it mean to be a civil engineer today? What does it look like, you know, in the first few years of that career? What are some of the things that you might get to do when you're at your 5-year point, your 10-year post-graduation point? What does the career path look like? The other great thing about ITP is it also helps you explore some of the specializations within the department. So for instance, with biomedical engineering, there's a lot of specialization tracks. You've got 3 actually, in terms of what you might want to specialize your work in. And so one of the things that you'll do during ITP is get a little bit of taste of each of those. So it helps you see, you know, maybe cellular and tissue engineering is for me, or maybe it's the neural pathways and the neural engineering pathway. So you get a chance to kind of test it out, see which is the best fit, and make sure that you're really in the right major. And I mentioned that some of them are groupings of majors. And so, you know, you can come in as an undecided student if that's something you're interested in, take an ITP and help you figure out which of those might be the best fit for you. So it's not super common at Illinois Tech to be an undecided student, but if you are, ITP is a great program to help you, you know, figure out which fit at the university is best. Another shared experience for all of our students is IPRO. So ITP is at the beginning, IPRO is closer to the end. IPRO stands for Interprofessional Projects, and this is your chance to really show off what you've learned at Illinois Tech. It's a capstone style project where you're going to work in a small group environment with about maybe 6 to 7 other students, maybe a few more sometimes, but a pretty small team where you choose the problem you want to try and solve. Sometimes they're huge, you know, world-facing types of issues, things like, you know, water access. They could be something related to security, or developing an application to help the American Red Cross. All of these are some things that have been done in the past. Or it could be campus-based. You know, it could be helping students find offices in our quote unquote tall building. It's 9 stories, so it's a little tall, but it's not huge. But there's a group that came together and created like a mobile floor finder kiosk, so that way you could find where, you know, an office is in that building, so you don't have to break your brain every time. So it's all about you as a team deciding what you want to do, how you will want to approach that topic, and then hopefully doing that successfully, but also realizing that not every project is successful. It's a real world project, so sometimes things fail, but hopefully you learn from those failures as well. This happens inside the Kaplan Institute, which is a newer academic building here at Illinois Tech. It actually has been open for just about a year now, and it's home to the IPRO. It's home to our idea shop, which is our rapid prototyping lab, also where our design faculty are housed, which is one of our master's and PhD level programs. I just mentioned the idea shop. That's one of the places that you'll find inside Kaplan. And this is home to, you know, 3D printers, laser cutters, modeling software, just open space where you can meet together as a team. It's basically that spot on campus where you can go if you have ideas and you want to bring them to fruition. You can absolutely do that at the idea shop. Dane Christensen is a student of ours, or rather an alum of ours now, who actually created what's called the X Cube, which is a Rubik's Cube style device that is a little bit harder, has some additional faces and pieces to it. He created that in our idea shop, and then ultimately went on to start a small business out of that. So definitely something that you can do as well if that's some interest that you might have. Last, in terms of our shared experiences for all students here is our Elevate. So Elevate is all about taking you off campus. You know we have a lot of great resources and experiences built in at Illinois Tech, but there's a whole world of opportunities out there. And Elevate can help you find those. That's internships, that's study abroad, that's co-ops. Maybe it's going off campus to do research with somebody else. These are the types of opportunities that our Elevate program helps you to find, and in some situations could also potentially help you afford, because there are Elevate stipends, which are awarded as part of our scholarships and financial aid packages for students to help offset some of these costs for traveling or maybe living in a different city in the summertime. So definitely something to consider. Now, in terms of campus life, we know that you're an academic bunch. Absolutely. At Illinois Tech, our students are a Brady group, but you also have to have some fun outside of class, and our students definitely do that. There are over 150, I think it's actually over 160 clubs on campus now at Illinois Tech. Some of these are going to be very academic. Some of them are going to be, shared interest groups, some advocacy groups, religious groups, all different types that are all student driven. In addition to that, definitely have a lot of events on campus. Even during COVID, our students are getting together a lot of times virtually, just for safety reasons, but having online events, still getting that connection with others because we know how important that is. So as I mentioned, a lot of those different clubs and organizations that you can find, I always tell students, if you want to do something during your college years, we probably have an avenue for that at Illinois Tech. And if not, we can absolutely help you find that. Remember, we're in Chicago, so it's a short 10 to 15-minute train ride to be in a city where you have a ton of options for things to do outside of class. Now, if you're interested in Greek life, we absolutely have that at Illinois Tech. So definitely have fraternities and sororities on campus. It's a little different than what you might have seen in movies and television. There's no traditional Greek quad. It's a little bit different in the way that they're housed, but they do have housing spaces on our campus as well. So definitely something to consider during your first year if you may want to join those. And then for our students who like to stay fit, we do have our intramural fitness classes. We also have just a student recreation center that's available for students to use. All of those types of activities are definitely something that we have at the university. And then for our gamers, there is an esports program. So Illinois Tech is really excited. We have esports teams that compete in about 38 different competitions each year. And we are looking for folks to join those teams. We're actually really excited to be able to award scholarships for our esports students. So if you are a gamer or you know a gamer, tell them to check us out. Maybe we want you to come and join the team at Illinois Tech. And then lastly, you can see is the Bog. This is a late night activity spot. Those students playing pool is actually inside the Bog. That's an area where our students have where they can relax, hang out, that student recreation area. Inside there, you've got, the pool tables, dartboards, all that kind of stuff. We've also got a full-size bowling alley, which is pretty cool, and which some of our professors will actually do lectures around. We have a professor who does a talk about the physics of bowling because he is a huge bowling fan. So, other things you'll see here are some of our tech traditions. Definitely, again, all about helping you to connect outside of class. A lot of these are things that we do during those first few weeks to help you get used to campus, meet other students, and explore. One of the ones that I'll definitely point out, though, is that pumpkin launch. You can see it there in the center of the photos. That is something that's not super common, but our students actually get together in the fall and build giant catapults, trebuchets, all different types of equipment to compete in competitions to literally send pumpkins flying through the sky. So if you are somebody who that type of engineering resonates well with you, I would encourage you to consider Illinois Tech. Now for our athletes, if you are interested in NCAA Division III athletics, Illinois Tech could be a great fit. As you can see, we've got a lot of different opportunities in sports that you could potentially join at our university. The biggest thing to know is that you're a student athlete at the NCAA Division III level. So you're gonna have a really great experience being able to study something like engineering or computer science and still be part of a competitive team. You're not having to have that hard balance of trying to be both an athlete and a student. Definitely something at the D3 level that you can do pretty easily. And then lastly, here's some information about our residence halls at Illinois Tech. We are a residential campus. We want you to have the best student experience possible. We want you to take advantage of all of those things that I just mentioned. And the easiest way to do that is by living on campus. You're going to be able to, not have to worry about commuting and all of that. So we have a lot of different options for you in terms of what type of residence hall you might like. The first photo you see is John and Jean Rowe Village, which is a suite style residence hall. So it's a pretty cool building itself. It's a very modernist approach to architecture. As you can see, there are those little openings across the top. Those are patio spaces. So all of our students who live in that building have an outdoor patio space which is not something a lot of folks in Chicago can say. Definitely something to be proud of. And then we have just below that, the newest residence hall at our university, and that is the CASIC Hall. So this one just opened this fall to our first group of students who moved in. It is a redesigned building. It originally was built by Mies van der Rohe, and then we redesigned it over the last few years, opened it up, made it a lot more modern, added an elevator, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a cool building for students to live in during their time at Illinois Tech. I'm going to hand it back over to my colleague Diana, and she is going to walk us a little bit through the admissions process, and then we'll wrap up talking about scholarships and financial aid before we do some question and answer.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Will. I just changed my microphone, so just let me know if you can't hear me or anything. But yes, like he said, I'm going to go over some of our admission requirements, financial aid, and all of that. So first and foremost, our application is completely free and it's on Common App. So I encourage our students to just apply, see how much scholarship amount they can get, see if they can get admitted. So this is what we need from you. For our first year applicants, what we need is definitely your high school transcripts as updated as possible. You can have your counselor submit it through Common App. And then we also need one letter of recommendation. You can submit up to 3 if you would like, but we only require 1. So if you wanted to get your counselor or your high school teachers, someone who can speak on your work ethic, that is recommended. Speaking of recommended, here are some of the recommended coursework on the right-hand side. This definitely depends on what major you are applying for. So if you're applying for a more STEM-focused major, we are definitely looking more into your math courses, science courses, and all of that. But if you're applying for like an architecture major or something, we're looking still into those classes, but not as harshly. Keep in mind, we are actually going test optional for the spring 2021 as well as fall 2021. So if you do or you don't have those ACT or SAT scores, that is completely fine. We just need your 2 things, so the transcripts as well as the letter of recommendation. So this is kind of your first year class profile. This is what a typical freshman looks like. Middle 50% of our admitted freshman body are in the top 10% of their graduating class, are earning a weighted GPA of around 4.0 to 4.36. So if your school doesn't weight your GPA, actually no worries, because we'll actually add on those weights for you. And what I mean by those is definitely those AP courses, honors courses that you are taking. Because those courses are a little bit more difficult, we wanted to give a boost to your GPA if you're taking any. SAT and ACT score ranges are there. However, just keep in mind we are going test optional, so if you don't have those scores, then you don't need to send them in. And then this is for transfer applicants. We do have a smooth transfer process for our students. Like Will mentioned way in the beginning in the introduction slide, we do have a 25% transfer population. This is what we need from transfer applicants if you wanted to explore a community college or explore other universities, but then eventually apply to Illinois Tech. We will need all college transcripts, 1 letter of recommendation from your teacher or counselor, however that is optional, and then 1 personal statement. Here are some of the recommended courseworks. I know that our transfer counselors, they do recommend at least having Calculus 1 before transferring over to Illinois Tech, just so we can see what your math levels are and what grades you are earning in those courses. If you have less than 30 credit hours, keep in mind we do require your official high school transcripts as well as your ACT scores, just to give a little bit more support to your application. Fast Forward, this is a program specifically for our transfer students. So if you are planning on doing the transfer process and kind of want to get like a sneak peek as to what Illinois Tech will look like for you, then we definitely encourage you to apply for Fast Forward. This is a completely free program that our students can sign up for, basically giving them specialized attention from our transfer counselors, getting that transfer and counseling services, as well as being invited to special events on our campus. I know that last year, I know our transfer counselors took some of our transfer students from Fast Forward to an indoor sky range or skydiving range. So I thought that was a really cool event that is specific for our Fast Forward students. All right, and then just a few admission deadlines. Here are some of the priority scholarship deadlines, but first and foremost, I do like to point out we are on a rolling admission cycle. So what that means is that our application is live from August 1st of 2020 all the way up to August 1st of 2021 for the fall of 2021. International students, they do have a few different deadlines just because we want to get in some of those additional documents for international students. However, I do like to point out our priority scholarship deadline. This is our November 15th deadline. If you apply by or before November 15th, you are either automatically considered for the camera scholarship, or if you get in both your general application, including some additional applications, then you can be considered for those Crown, Duchess Waugh, and Leadership Academy. Another thing to note about scholarships, if you apply by or before November 15th, if you're not considered for any of these full tuition scholarships, then you are automatically considered for our minimum amount of merit-based scholarship of $25,000, which I'm sure will cover in a future slide. Other admission deadlines, if you are interested in any of our dual admission programs, I did mention previously that we are partnered with 3 professional schools. And if you are interested in going into these dual admission programs, then here are the deadlines for them. I mainly just encourage our students to reach out to our dual programs coordinator, Kaylin Evan, at that email address there, so that she can help you out with the different application materials. And then last slide for me, here's just the cost of attendance for our students, kind of an overview and a breakdown of what you would be looking at your student bill. So here's the tuition, room and board, and fees amount, kind of totaling up to $65,000 around. Now keep in mind, I know this price tag can be a little scary, but keep in mind this is without all of those scholarships that I just mentioned. Like I said, if you apply by or before November 15th, then you're automatically considered for that minimum amount of $25,000 per year. So that already takes away a great chunk of this total amount. We are also encouraging our students to fill out for FAFSA if you're eligible to do so. So if you want to see on the left-hand side, you can kind of see your family's adjusted gross income in comparison to the average amount of scholarships and grant aid from FAFSA information in that chart. All right. Oh, and then I could cover this as well. I did mention financial aid and the FAFSA the FAFSA goes online and begins live October 1st. Our Illinois tax code is listed on the slide, 001691. If you do, and if you are eligible to fill out the FAFSA, and if you do get it done, then around mid-February, you'll be able to get or receive a financial aid offer, a complete financial aid offer from our admissions office to your Illinois Tech email. So definitely keep an eye out for that. All right, and we'll cover a few of our first year scholarships.
Absolutely, thank you. So yeah, I want to talk with you a little about some scholarship opportunities here at Illinois Tech. In addition to that financial aid that Diana just mentioned, those could be things like your, state, federal grant programs. All of our scholarships are fully merit-based. So we're not looking at your need for these scholarships. This is actually just looking at the experiences you've had as a student. And so the most common scholarship that is awarded is that Henry T. Heald Scholarship. In a normal year, that ranges anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000 in value. This year, as Diana said, we are awarding every admitted student at least $25,000 in financial aid. So you could still get up to $30,000 in financial support, but at the very minimum, you will receive $25K this year, which is awesome. Other big thing to know is that these scholarships are automatically renewable. So if you get $25K this year, you're getting that every single year in the future. So it's actually $100,000 in value from a scholarship perspective. Our international students are also eligible for merit-based scholarships at Illinois Tech. So if you happen to be an international student who's watching this, we would love to have you and be able to award some scholarships for you as well. That Elevate stipend I mentioned as that program that helps you find those off-campus opportunities. This is up to a $5,000 grant that can be used for non-tuition expenses. So these are things like the housing, the travel, the meal plans, all that kind of stuff that's not part of your tuition cost. And then, as Diana said, if you apply by November 15th, which is our priority deadline, you will be considered for our Camera Scholars application. This is a scholarship that goes all the way up to full tuition, so we definitely encourage you to consider that. All you have to do is apply early. There's no separate application process for that, so it's an automatic consideration. Our transfer students are also eligible for scholarships, and this year they are also eligible for at least $25,000 in scholarship support. Normal application review process for transfer scholarships, you can see there are a lot of different awards. We have a lot of partnership programs with schools, and so that's one of the things you'll find with our transfers is we tend to create these partnerships. So the big thing to know is that you are eligible for scholarships, and you definitely can help have a pretty good package from Illinois Tech as a transfer student. Even though you might only be attending the university for 2 or 3 years, we still give financial support to help offset some of those costs. Some other scholarship information you'll see here. These ones are special application required. So in everything that you previously saw, no separate required application for those. But these ones, we do need an application because these are for special types of students. So it could be our Crown Scholarship, which is our architecture students. If you are an architecture student and you have a portfolio of some examples of your work, I would definitely encourage you to consider applying for Crown. It's a full tuition scholarship, and you're only competing against Crown or architecture students. You're not competing against the full pool, so it's a smaller group. 2 leadership-based awards at Illinois Tech. We have the Leadership Academy and the Duchossois Leadership Scholars Program. These are 2 scholarships that are looking specifically for leadership development opportunities. You don't have to have been the president of every club at your high school. You don't have to be the class president. We're looking for students who had maybe some exposure to leadership, but also really those who want to develop it while they're at Illinois Tech. So don't think that if you're not, everybody's or every leader, you aren't eligible for this program. You absolutely are. So I would definitely encourage you to consider applying for these as well. And then last, we have our esports scholarship. So again, if you're a gamer or you maybe want to be a coach or you want to be involved in some way in esports, I would encourage you to definitely apply for this scholarship as that's another great opportunity at Illinois Tech. A few others that you see listed this year, the FIRST Robotics and the VEX Robotics scholarship programs as well. These are automatically renewable like the HEALD scholarship. So if you are a robotics student, definitely encourage you to consider applying for one of these. Basically what we need is a scholarship application, which really just kind of confirms that you were in fact an active team member during your high school years. So I'd encourage you to think about those awards as well. Now, a little about student success and sort of return on investment. In Illinois Tech, or at Illinois Tech rather, our students do have a really great experience. They grow a lot academically, they grow personally, and when they graduate, they usually have pretty good salaries. In fact, we're ranked #1 in the state for return on investment once you compare our cost with financial aid against other institutions. So definitely from a salary perspective, you're making a great choice, definitely a strong one. We're also known as a best value institution. So those scholarships and financial aid figures all come together to make Illinois Tech be one that you can definitely feel positive knowing that we're doing our best to bring that cost down and make it as affordable as possible for our students. We're also known for our upward mobility. So that's another great factor to consider when you're looking at schools is, what's that upward mobility look like? And Illinois Tech is definitely a good institution for that as well. So some next steps for you before we jump into the questions here is definitely to visit campus when you can. Unfortunately, you can't right now, so that's not something you can do, but we do have a virtual tour every single day, actually twice a day during the week. And so that's led by our current students. So Diana and I could tell you about the university from a staff member perspective. We can give you some experiences that our students have had, but the best possible way to learn about student life is to actually connect with students. And so doing the virtual tour is one of the easiest ways that you can do that. You can also get a chance to see some of the buildings and just learn a little bit more. Other things you can do is definitely talk with us. Our admissions counselors are available. We want to be a great resource for you in this process. We want you to connect with us definitely as early and often as you need. So feel free to do that. We have individual visits, individual sessions really via Zoom where you can meet one-on-one with a counselor and ask some questions that you might have. And then last is to submit your application. There's definitely no fee to apply, so no cost there. And this year with us being test optional. You don't have to have an application or don't have to have a test score to submit an application as well. So you can, really apply it at no out of cost to you potentially. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. See what your offer might be from Illinois Tech. And then I think we're going to have some time here for some questions. So Diana, if there are any questions, as I said, I sent Diana a little text. I couldn't quite see the question and answer, so she's going to be kind of the proctor for us. And then if there are not, I have a few as well that I definitely things I want to go back to in the presentation a little bit. But any questions I can answer initially, Diana, or we can answer rather?
Yeah, so I actually just answered them on the side, but we can address them for the greater good.
Yeah.
So some of the questions include, is there a direct admit to the College of Engineering, or do you have to apply for the aerospace program itself? So I answered this and I said that you could definitely apply directly to aerospace engineering as a major. However, if you wanted to kind of explore, and if you really aren't sure which engineering pathway you wanted to do, we do have an undecided armor as a major for our students. If they know they want to pursue engineering, but they aren't sure which specific one yet, especially because we have so many different engineering majors, then our students do like to do that if they aren't sure.
Perfect. Yeah, actually, I was going to give just a little more, a little bit more on that question as well. That's something that's really great about Illinois Tech is that you do get to start out directly in your major. So, you as a student, there's no pre-engineering coursework required. There's no pre-computer science or anything like that, where you have to then seek admission to that program later. So that's definitely a huge benefit of coming to Illinois Tech is that you get to start out right away in that program. So definitely one thing I would encourage you to think about when you're looking at Illinois Tech as an option is that you get, first semester, you'll start out working in that course.
Definitely. Thanks, Will. And then other questions. So I had a question regarding the first robotics scholarship and if it would still count if their team was not able to participate in competitions due to COVID. What I answered was that as long as you have proof that you participated for at least one full season during your junior or senior year on the first robotics competition, you should be fine. And if your school is doing anything to kind of handle COVID, if you're doing something on the side, then we will still take that into consideration as well. We completely understand and we want to be accommodating for COVID situations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, great questions. Do we have any other questions from the crowd? I know we went through a few and you said you have a few questions on the side for us, Will. Do you want to get into those?
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the clubs and organizations at Illinois Tech, because we kind of went over those a little bit quickly, so I do apologize, but I know that's definitely something a lot of students do have questions about. So in terms of some of the activities that students get involved in outside of the classroom, and again, if you have other questions, feel free to submit those and Diana and I will answer those for you. But just to give you a little more context to some of those clubs and organizations, in terms of professional organizations that exist at Illinois Tech, that's one of the great opportunities being at such a STEM focused school is that you can be a part of things like the Civil Engineers Society, where not only do you get together and you have folks who share that academic experience with you, but they also do things like building a concrete canoe every year and competing against other schools. You've got some really great opportunities to build connections with others directly in your field. Diana, are there any other clubs or organizations that really stand out to you at Illinois Tech that you like, or ones that always pop in your head when you think of Illinois Tech students?
Yeah, definitely. From the amount of times our student workers has brought up our a cappella group, it's astounding. Apparently our a cappella group is very good and it's thriving right now. If you want to think about Pitch Perfect, that movie or anything, I've heard our student workers comparing our kind of clubs to that experience. So it's a lot of cool experiences. They compete in competitions, whether it be regional or national if their team is very good for that year. But yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's definitely, all kinds of stuff in terms of clubs and organizations you can be involved in. You've got, like I said, some of those very academic driven clubs. We also have a number of cultural and religious organizations on campus, because we do know that that's, very important for lots of students. So if that's something that you are looking for in your college experience, even though you might be at a STEM-based institution, you don't have to, leave that part of yourself behind. Absolutely can continue to connect with others in, religious settings if that's something that you wanted to do. Definitely an opportunity for students. In terms of some other questions that I typically get asked, information about housing and some of that is definitely another big question. You are required to live on campus for 2 years at Illinois Tech. I'm not sure if I said that in the presentation, so I wanted to clarify. But even after that time, a lot of our students will continue to live on campus because it is just such a great, easy experience. You don't have to worry about commuting in the winter or anything like that. So living on campus is definitely a big factor for a lot of students. And you do have a lot of options. So there's that suite style residence that I mentioned. There's that more dormitory style with 2 folks sharing a room and then that common restroom. You also have more dedicated apartments for students when they get in those upper class years. If you do want more of your own personal private space, that's another great opportunity for students as well.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add on to that, Will, I would like to mention, like, in order to accommodate for the pandemic and everything, we are allowing our students to study remotely if they aren't comfortable with coming to our campus. And that just really shows how we are putting our students first, our student safety first, definitely in front of everything. Not sure how that's going to go for the upcoming semesters, but yeah, just wanted to point that out as well, if that was anyone's concern. I do have one question coming in for the Q&A. So this student wants to pursue a career in aerospace engineering. They're looking at other schools for the specific major, and they're just wondering, what are the benefits studying aerospace engineering at IIT? Will, do you have any certain aspects about our engineering college that you want to point out?
Sure, definitely. I'd love to talk a little bit about some of those. One of the things that I think is a really great resource is your faculty. Having that close relationship with them teaching the courses directly and having that one-on-one time with folks who are very well respected in the field is definitely a big factor. Our professors do some great research. We have an aerospace engineering professor who does some material science research with Rolls-Royce, where they test the metal alloys that they actually end up using in engine development. So definitely some opportunities in that field and in material science, if that's something that you might want to do with aerospace. Other thing I would say is some of those connections that you have. We have alumni who work at places like SpaceX. We have alumni at NASA. We typically always have at least 1 or 2 students completing an internship with Boeing. So there's, again, some really great connections. And that's true across, all of our majors is, we have a relatively, because it's a small community, our alumni stay pretty engaged in that process. And they want our students to help them do well, and they want to help bring them to where they work. So that's another great opportunity. And I would say, especially a pitch for schools that are of our size, whether it's Illinois Tech or not. I think that's definitely a huge factor for a lot of students in deciding for a smaller school is some of that experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I just wanted to add on to that. We do have what's called an ARMOR R&D program. So what that stands for is ARMOR Research and Development. So we do a lot of hands-on experiences with our students, and we put hands-on experiences as one of our top priorities because we do understand how important that is to some of our students, and that really enhances our students' education. So research and development, you can definitely get involved in research projects as well as actual projects as soon as your second semester your freshman year, or even your first semester your freshman year in your IPP course. I would say other benefits of studying engineering specifically at our university is that we are ABET accredited. Some of the recommendations I like to give to our students is that if you are looking for other universities, just making sure they have this accreditation. I do know that there are some companies that are looking specifically for that accreditation if you went to accredited school.
Absolutely. So I think we've just got a few moments here before the end of the presentation. So I just want to give an additional pitch to look at some of the virtual opportunities we have coming up. These are great ways to learn about not only Illinois Tech and some of our programs, but just these industries. You know, we have what's called Discover Colleges Night, which is a way where you can learn about the different types of engineering, meet the professors. So definitely jump on our website, visit that information, or go to our visit page and learn about some of those opportunities to connect not only with our programs, but also just the industry as a whole. So definitely a great way to learn a little bit more about engineering and computer science, what exactly it means to be a bioinformatic major. You can learn that at the upcoming Discover Colleges Night. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're very, very much looking forward to working with you over the next few months.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you all for attending today.
All right, thank you, Will and Diana, and thank you guys for joining us. When you close this window, there's going to be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at moacac.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at moacac.org. Thank you and have a good night.